Today we're going to talk about controlling spouses and what that means to us. Coming from different realms of relationships, we kind of figure that we have it all figured out, but we don't. Majority of the time, it's pretty much people that we surface love, I would say. And we try to figure out along the way how that relationship becomes normalized. For me, being in relationships for about several years, you come to the conclusion that not all relationships are the same. Some are good, some are bad, some are definitely indifferent. So you figure out, where do you fit? For me, it was kind of like I was always in the middle. Like I always tried to give more than what I was receiving, or putting in more than that was given to me. I always thought that it was going to be like equal, but relationships are never equal. No matter how you look at them, no matter what platform they're on. You could be a billionaire and think that your wife or your mate are supposed to be the same, but sometimes that don't happen. I grew up knowing like what real relationships look like through my parents, who was together up until I could remember, and that's all I seen. Like I seen them build together. I seen them, you know, work ethic, like just everything. Like they were what people call your golden couple, I would say. Like they were always together, they were always around each other. I grew up in a two-parent household, so I never seen the split dynamic. I never seen, the single mom, lifestyle, or, the single dad lifestyle. I always seen both of my parents. So growing up, I always said to myself, I always want to be in a relationship similar to my parents. And I always made it a priority of mine to have that type of relationship, even if, it wasn't given back to me in the same way. I've had several relationships to where, I was used, abused, controlled pretty much to the point to where, I lost myself. I didn't know who I was, honestly. I was fighting a battle between, do I live this way? Do I do things that way? And honestly, that's not a way to live. You want to be an individual who has your own thought process, your own goals, your own way of, bringing what you have to the table of your relationship. And it was hard for me because I didn't establish who I was until my relationships was over. And that's not healthy. That's not, that's not a relationship. It's more of a controlled ship. Prime example, I was with someone and they felt as though, I should have been more of like a outer person, if that makes sense. More like I should have been portrayed as something that I wasn't. And I went with that for a long time until I realized like it wasn't healthy for me. I started getting sick. I started, you know, being somewhat depressed, shutting people out, not talking to anybody, not being around people, always inside. And I started really portraying what she wanted me to be, which wasn't me. It was somebody else. And not realizing that in years and years of a relationship with somebody, it'll take a toll on your mental. I used to wonder, why do I feel like this? Like, what is going on? You know, why am I chasing something that's not chasing me back? And it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It really was. And I tried to find an escape out of it, and I could never find it. I always ended up right back there where I started. So for me, I kind of felt like I needed to find out who I was. I needed peace. And in order for me to find that peace, I had to get myself out of the situation I was in. It wasn't easy. It was not easy at all. And I tried to make sense of what was going on. So I put more pros than the cons and I still ended up right back where I started. I fell on my head a couple of times. I went back a couple of times, but I also realized it wasn't where I needed to be. To me, when you're in a relationship, there's no such thing as control. There's involved, there's love, there's positivity, there's bringing together, there's a union. That's how I see what a relationship's supposed to be. Not controlling, not telling nobody what to wear, not telling nobody how to look, not telling nobody what to eat, not telling nobody how they supposed to talk, put together, words and just things that you normalize in a relationship as far as control. There's no such thing. You can grow together, you can build together. I feel like when people control someone, it's because they don't have control of their own lives. I feel like they justify it by controlling somebody else, like as if they're a joystick or one button controls their life, or a joystick makes them who they are. No, we all are different individuals. We all come from different realms of life. We all have our own way of doing things, and it's not healthy on neither part. You don't want to be with somebody that everything you do is wrong or is not the way that they want you to do it. I don't never feel as though people should walk around and have that, I guess, type of idea in their mind. I've been around people that have done these things, and for me, it's unhealthy. And I don't try to dictate other people's relationships or how they maneuver around, because we all have our own way of doing things, and some people actually like to be controlled, which is odd to me, but you know, to each his own. But I came to you guys today to talk about it because I feel like, what are other people's opinion on control? And is it actually control? Or is it a way that your spouse or mate want to be treated? Honestly, in my relationship, I don't like that at all. I've made sure that once I got into a healthy relationship, that would never be a thing on nobody's part. Communication is a big key to any relationship. If you can't communicate your feelings, if you can't communicate how you do things, if a person don't see you for who you are, and that's another big thing. Opening your eyes to seeing a person for who they are instead of looking right through them. A lot of people look through people and don't see that they can actually be great people. We are all crazy, weird, and indifferent in our own ways. Nobody's perfect. Nobody walks around this earth perfect. You have to find what matches for you. If you feel as though you have more cons in your relationship, you have to take a step back and actually look at yourself and figure out what role are you playing in those cons in that relationship. Because it stems from you. You are your own individual who can make your own decisions and figure out what type of relationships you want, what type of friendships you want, and what looks right for your life. Not too many people know that a lot of people come to them broken, vulnerable, want different things out of life, because you only hear about people in their past situations. I've learned going forward in my relationship that there is no past. It's only the future, and that's what you in that moment with the person that you're with. No longer is it this person wasn't strong, this person was weak-minded, they didn't have a mind of their own, they allowed other people to do these things to them. So I'm gonna do the same thing because that's what they're comfortable with. Not a lot of people are comfortable with that. When a person comes to you and want to build a relationship, it's because they're starting anew. It's not that they want to be still the person they was before. Too many people figure that out the wrong way. Like, for example, some people get into a relationship and they came from an abusive relationship, and they even get into a even more abusive relationship with somebody, or feel as though, their person don't have the mindset to think on their own or develop what type of, life they want to have for themselves. So they pick one for them. That's not right. Nobody should walk around on eggshells. Nobody should feel like they can't talk to their mate. Nobody should feel like they can't even build a friendship with their mate. It's hard enough trying to piece together your own feelings about life because it's hard. It's really, really hard. And a lot of us fall in that trap too many times. I fell in it too many times and I realized, you know what? Let me work on me. Let me get me together. Let me figure out where I'm going wrong. And when I did that, my blessing came to me. And after that, I've been fine ever since because I know what I want, how I want it, and what I'm trying to build. And when you get to that point, everything else becomes clear to you on a matter of your relationships, how you don't want to be controlled by somebody, how you shouldn't be controlled by your spouse, because there's no such thing. There's working together, there's putting things into perspective, and there's figuring it out. So, again, guys, what do you guys think about being with someone who's controlling, or even if you felt like you was in a relationship that was controlling? Let me know in the next down below in the comments. Until next time, I'm out.